Okay. This is Frank, my wife's 1963-ish 10 horsepower automatic electric start WheelHorse that we called a 1073. They never had a 1073, but I built one. And it is show season, and this thing needs a little TLC. Last year, this fuel line here pretty much exploded thanks to ethanol fuels. It's only maybe 3 years old, and it was pretty much junk. That is not the worst of it, though. The worst of it is that the engine's pretty much garbage. There's, I'm going to say, around 40 thousandths of piston slop in the cylinder, and it smokes real terrible, and I can only make the oil so thick. And so that's no longer the fix. This here is a 10 horse K241, I believe is what it's called. Yep, 241, all right. And that's the same engine off of a shaker plate WheelHorse that I used on Frank. This one runs really good. So the plan is to strip all the tins off this one, clean and clear coat as much of the engine as I can to make it fit Frank's appearance. Knock that plow over while I'm doing it, and see if I can get this fired up. If you're wondering about some of the body work that's on this tractor before I get going, the paint job was on the 753 donor with the stars and stripes. It was pretty cool, but it looked like it was put on with a shop broom. It was a terrible paint job. And you can still see some brush strokes here and everywhere else. So what I ended up doing was just doing what body work I needed to. Same with that belt guard. That's the Charger 10 or Charger 12 belt guard mixed with the 753 belt guard. And I did a ton of tack, peen, grind welding. And I made that thing smooth and flat. There's like no ripples in it where any of the body work actually was done. I'm pretty proud of it, but the clear coat was definitely my wife's idea. I was going to strip the whole thing down and paint it all nice and good, so I'm super glad I didn't. Still, I really like all the mix of the reds and everything else. So that's that. It's time to get to work. Well, now that the hood is off, you can see this special air cleaner here. That's a oil-filled foam type material inside there, and then the louvers are where the air comes from. You would think it's choked off quite a bit. I did add some louvers to the bottom, but it works pretty well, and it clears the hood barely. You can see where the fuel line is all beat up and cracked right there as well. So all that's going to get replaced when the new engine goes on. And you can also see just how tight that hood actually does sit on there. There's really no room for anything more. I raised the front end up about 3 inches, front end of the hood, and then this Raider dash stand is just tall enough that the 753 tank actually did bolt on. I think 2 of the 4 bolt holes fit. You can see there, and it just works just with the 2 in there. You can also see the bottom of that fuel tank has been cut off and shaved and then re-welded, and that aluminum is some nasty stuff. We had a ton of blowouts. I actually sent it to my father-in-law's welding shop where they do this type of work all the time, and they even had struggles. So we ended up with a KBS Coatings 3-part gas tank liner kit. You can kind of see it down in there. It's like a silver metallic material, and it's rock star amazing. I would recommend that KBS coatings sealer on any fuel tank, especially these round hood ones. Many of them are the two-piece ones, and this was, but many of those bolt holes crack and that gasket goes bad, so just seal it and be done. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that belt guard and the exhaust and the PTO bell and any accessories and tins that I can off this engine and get it ready to just pull off the frame. It is a shaker plate engine, but it is bolted solid, and you can see that steering shaft, that it's pretty bent right there. I ended up having to grind and torch and all this stuff to heat it up, and it goes under the dipper casting and back. So I'll show you that once I get the engine off.